Ex who strung me along wants me back now that I'm dating a man with a future. My ex, 31 male, and I, 30 female, were together for almost 3 years, and we went through so many external factors that contributed to the downfall of our relationship. The main one was our different stances on marriage, as in if it was ever going to happen. It always seemed like he needed more time to be sure, and I started feeling like I wasn't a priority for him. Then he got laid off from his tech job. He was here on an H-1B visa, which meant he needed employment or he had 60 days to leave the country. I'm a U.S. citizen, so marrying me would have fixed that. He could stay. No hassle. I never thought he was after a green card, but it was staring us in the face. An immigration lawyer told me, if you marry him, all his problems go away. It gave me chills, but not the romantic kind. I'd always wonder if he married me just to stay. In the end, we decided that if he didn't get a job, he would leave and we would break up. Luckily, he found a job very soon and we didn't need to get married for visa purposes. By that time, I knew that we blew through my timeline for getting engaged, the 2-year mark, and then eventually married. Back in 2023, I was very sick, the kind of illness that weakened my immune system and my overall health. During a routine OB/GYN visit, my doctor asked me if I wanted fertility testing. I got my results and my ex was right there when I opened them, and my egg count was not as high as I would have wanted. That terrified me. I asked right then and there whether we were going to get married soon or not, but he was still unsure of whether we should take that next step. I should have left him then, but I stayed for another 1.5 years. What really broke me was one day when I asked him if he was happy with me, and he said it seemed like we were both miserable, but at least we were unhappy together. I don't know what came over me, but I moved my things out of the house and broke up with him on the spot. I just couldn't fathom living forever with someone who isn't happy with me, but still wanted to stay. He, of course, came begging and crying for another chance, and I said I needed to move on and heal. I recently started seeing someone new and it has been so refreshing. His first question to me was what my thoughts on marriage were. We are so compatible in so many ways, and to be honest, this man might be my future husband. I can't believe I'm saying that. We lift each other up and encourage each other and are already having serious conversations about our timeline to get married. I don't know what is in the air, but it seems like the moment we're ready to move on and be genuinely happy, our exes come back and suddenly want to change. My ex texted me today and said he is working on improving himself and genuinely taking steps to become the man I deserve. I feel like these are the words I was longing to hear for so long, and I just never got them. The new guy I'm seeing has only been with me for a week, and so it's super new as well. I'm just feeling so many conflicted emotions. So I'm just curious, friends of this sub that has been a lifeline for me. Do they ever truly change and become the husband you want? Well, I don't think it's just that one question that you posed. I think we need to talk about the 3 people in this situation. The first one is your ex. I would say, leave him in the past. You were right to break things off. Maybe you stayed for too long, but you were right to move on. He says he's still working to become the man that you deserve. Well, if he's doing any kind of work, it should be for himself, not to get you back. That usually doesn't work out. Second would be your current relationship. It's only been 1 week. I don't think that's enough time to get to know anybody, even if you were stuck in the same room for 1 week without getting out. I understand you're under personal pressure, but I would recommend to at least get through the honeymoon period before making any kind of decisions. Enjoy the moment. And this leads me to the third point, which is you. I may be very off base here, but I get the impression that you're super focused on being married regardless. And this ties to point number 2. Enjoy the moment and take your time. This is not a classy saying, so I apologize for the crudeness, but I once heard something like, if you rush a fart, you know what comes out. Again, apologize for the crudeness. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Choice Reflection 965 says, first slow your roll with the new guy. If you've been seeing him for 7 days, you don't need to be thinking, yet he might be your future husband. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but focus on prioritizing yourself, growing, healing, therapy, living your life, being happy, and let marriage fall into place whenever it does. Second, text your ex back and let him know you wish him the best, but you've moved on and you aren't interested in a relationship with him anymore. If he continues to text or call you after that, block him. You don't owe him anything. Your priority is you. Pondering Nudibrank says, you were unhappy together. He wasn't and isn't your guy. In my opinion, people can change, but they can't change their dynamic with someone. If they were persistently unhappy, that's not going to change. If you have to work to be happy together, it's not the right relationship. You moved on. Stay moved on. Love the Jackass says, don't put the new guy on a pedestal. Go slow. If you are thinking future husband after a week, you can be fooled the way you were fooled before. Just date him for a year and see what kind of person he is without looking through a future-oriented lens. Work on yourself, on fixing your picker, on your career or work, on friendship and your interests. I suspect you are fearful of not having children, but don't let that drive you to a rushed relationship with a man you've known for a week. What your ex is doing is called hoovering. Once you get away from him, he learns that not everyone is enchanted with his visa status and future faking. If you're smart, you'll shut down his ability to contact you by blocking him. Date this new person and maybe others for a while. Don't be in a hurry to crown the next guy future husband. And Snarky Poodle says, he told you he wasn't happy with you, and now it seems like he's resurfacing because he is even more miserable alone. You knew this wasn't what you wanted for your forever. Stay strong and keep moving forward. My ex also cried and pleaded about how they'll change and improve after we broke up. And in the meantime, I've also moved on to date someone much more compatible with me who has made concrete steps to show he sees a future with me. I wouldn't go back to my ex in a million years. You deserve and will find better. Alright, so the community is telling OP basically the same thing. Don't look back at your ex and live in the present with your current relationship. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hi, friends. I truly did not expect my post to blow up so quickly, so I figured I'll make an update instead of trying to respond to your comments. I also want to thank everyone who chimed in with their experiences, and it's clear that exes are exes for a reason. I hear everyone and was not about to go back to the ex. I'm very happy with my new guy, and while it's new, I do need to clarify. We are not getting married or thinking of getting married after 1 week together. So many of you were concerned that I was jumping into a marriage so quickly with someone else. Not at all. When I said his first question to me was what my thoughts on marriage are, I meant he asked me what I thought a good relationship and marriage should be built on, not what I thought about marrying him. We have not discussed marrying each other. We are simply defining the standards of what we believe make a healthy relationship. For example, we talked about good communication skills and making sure we can reconcile after a conflict. We also talked about what it means to support one another when we're going through tough times. Anyways, the reason why I made my post was because my ex texted me and wanted to talk about the changes he's made. Apparently, he started seeing a therapist, and she helped him realize that he had unrealistic expectations out of our relationship, and that all he needs is someone who loves him, and is kind and compassionate, which he had in me all along. He also used to place undue burden on both of us when it came to always siding with his family. He realized that it wasn't fair of him to do that. And even after talking to his mother, she made him see that he should make me the priority. Furthermore, I go to church while he does not, as we are of different faiths. Apparently, in the past month, he's been going to church, working with the pastor, and realizing that this improved version of himself would create a very happy life with me. This was also conflicting as he's literally putting in the work into doing everything to become the man I would want. I just feel like it's so late. My heart hurts so much not being prioritized, and truthfully, like someone said, I would hold so much resentment and disappointment if I gave it another go and it stayed the same as before. All of this to say, he kept trying to meet up and explain himself until I told him he needed to stop and that I'm starting to see someone new. He asked for one last video call and I turned that down too. Guys, I'm naturally a people pleaser, and I just feel empathy for him. Regardless of the fact that we didn't work out, I just feel sad that he's sad and now knows about the new guy. Someone said it very poignantly that women tend to feel responsible for man's feelings, and it's very true. My other relationships have all ended amicably, but have also all ended with no contact and no one begging, crying, pleading, and promising to change or do the work. Therefore, this is all very new for me, and I'm not sure if I'm navigating it correctly. Please give me some grace. And for the people who called me a basket case for whatever reason, I hope you never have to experience heartbreak and all the hurt that comes with it. Well, OP, good for you. I think you've made the right decision for the both of you. If he's doing the work, it should be for himself, as I said before. And you, well, you're just looking ahead. So here's wishing you all the best, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by user ThrowawayWGF. My coworker, 18 male, put me, 22 female, on a hear me out cake and posted it online. Do I take action in some way? I work at a diner as a waitress with this kid. Let's call him John. John has always seemed pretty chill and buzzes my tables. Sometimes we chat if we are closing together, usually about school as he started college not too long ago, and I'm almost graduated with my bachelor's. Ultimately, we're friendly but not friends. Last week, he said that he was part of a group chat with a handful of other coworkers on Instagram and asked if I wanted to join. I said sure because I haven't connected with people at the diner that well and figured it was worth a shot. We swapped Instas. The group chat is very normal, friendly banter between coworkers. Yesterday, I see that John posted a reel of him and a couple of his buddies doing their take on a Hear Me Out cake. This is usually a very light-hearted and funny way of saying you would get with what are typically fictional and mostly animated characters. The entire cake adhered to that concept except toward the end when my face, a picture that he must have screenshotted from one of my posts, is stuck on the cake. I was the only real person on that cake, and John actually made a comment about how attractive I was and that he wished he could hit that, but doubts he has a chance. I feel insanely grossed out and kind of violated. I want the video taken down, but I'm not sure if I have the right or authority to do that. I ranted about this to my sister, and she told me to just take it as a compliment and be glad someone thinks I'm pretty. It feels wrong doing that. Is this grounds for making this issue to higher-ups? I don't know if I am comfortable working with him at the moment. Do I just take care of this myself and tell him that it makes me uncomfortable and I want him to take it down? It is a public video. I'm just uncertain how to move forward. Well, I would do 3 things. On the work front, definitely tell your manager. What he did is not right, and if it makes you personally uncomfortable, yeah, that is not a nice work environment. Your manager should do something about that. 2. Report the video. I'm not an expert on Instagram, but I would assume that you should be able to do that. And 3. Block him and tell him that you don't want him taking pictures from your Instagram anymore. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Alternative Soup 1 says, "This would make me uncomfortable too. I feel like he posted this knowing you'd see it and hoping you'd respond positively to it. Either way, it's awkward, and I'm sorry you're in this position. I'm cringing for you. I think the fastest way to get it taken down would be to talk to him about not being comfortable with your photo on a public video. If he apologizes and takes it down, I'd say you may not need to escalate. If you have a decent relationship with your manager, it may not hurt to ask to shift your schedule around to avoid him. Good luck, OP." And OP responds, "I was wondering if it was a tactic of some kind, like making a move without making one. I don't know. He is too young for me anyway. I think I will see if I can get my manager to help with my schedule, but because of my classes, I don't think I could change much unless I want to work fewer hours. Thanks for the support, though. I will try to word a message to John now asking him to take it down." China Cat Sunflower says, "Report to HR so beyond inappropriate." And OP responds, "To my knowledge, we don't have HR. I do have a good relationship with my manager, and I now plan on bringing it up to her. Not as a report of any kind, just telling her what happened, and if she chooses to take action, she can. I will directly ask about scheduling so that I don't have to see him, but I have had enough people telling me I am being dramatic to want to be a little cautious." And Janet in Spain says, quote, "We are friendly but not friends." Ends quote. This is the way to keep things. There are 3 rules I followed and absolutely recommend. The very few times I ever broke them turned out bad every time. Rule 1. Coworkers are not your friends. Be cordial but not friendly. Never trust them with personal information, office secrets you've learned, or money interactions, and always remember that they will throw you under the bus if it saves their job or gets them the promotion. Rule 2. Don't crap where you eat. Never have a romantic relationship with a coworker, especially if you aren't on the same grade level. It almost always ends up badly, and one person ends up having to leave. Rule 3. Never get drunk, not even tipsy at a company function. It doesn't matter if the open bar is free and the drinks are flowing. Do not overdrink. Well, I think the community gave OP some pretty decent advice and OP plans to go to her manager. So let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. So I had screen recorded the video and sent it to my manager. We are on good terms and I was hoping that she would understand and we could rework the schedule so that I don't have him bussing my tables and we won't have to interact. She said this is very odd and may be a violation of conduct. She told me not to stress about the details and that she would take care of it. I am very grateful with how seriously she took it. She had moved me around so that I will not have to see him as much, and I only have a handful of time since then. He has avoided eye contact with me entirely. Once my manager was aware of the video, I DM'd John on Insta saying, "The video you made in which you put my face in a Hear Me Out cake for social media is gross and unprofessional. We are co-workers. I did not green light being posted online and sexualized like that. I have talked with our manager about the situation and my discomfort and would like you to take the video down. You used my image without my consent." He responded and apologized saying that he and his friends were drunk and that he made that video on a whim. He told me he thought I was cool and wouldn't have a problem with it. He said he would take it down but never once actually said sorry. Just gave those excuses. It was deleted. He has been having to take an online course about sexual harassment and workplace misconduct or something like that. Something probably meaningless, but at least it is slightly a pain in the ass. The only thing now is that he has buzzboy buddies that side-eyed and kind of glower at me because of the action I took. On the bright side, they probably won't F with me like that. Anyway, thanks to anyone reading. I'm not sure if anyone will see this, but the comments on the last post were mostly helpful, and I am grateful for the perspective that you guys provided. So thanks. Well, good for you, OP. Your manager has your back. This guy's not gonna bother you anymore, and the video has been taken down. So here's wishing you the best. Take care, and thanks for sharing. Now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Stonks Togo. Boss asked me to wash work linen at home, so I did. I worked at a therapy clinic for a short span. We would use towels and pillowcases frequently for exercising and icing heat applications. We had just moved to a new site that did not have an in-house washer or dryer, and my director had no intention of hiring a contractor to deliver and pick up linen. We were tasked by the director with taking the linen home ourselves and washing it. Many of my co-workers just took it as part of the job, but I did not agree. We were hourly workers, and that was blatantly a work-related activity. When it was my turn to take the linen home, I clocked in on my home prior to starting the washer and clocked out only after I had taken out and folded all the linen. A week later, my manager sent me a text questioning my extra time, and I simply replied with, "I was on the clock washing the linen." It was not long after that we had a new contractor coming to the office weekly to pick up and deliver fresh linen. Well, LP, I don't know if I would call it malicious compliance. I would just call it fair compliance. You're getting paid for the work you're doing. That's it.